What's up? This is Neil's Han Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Buy some silver, some platinum, and a whole bunch of crystallized osmium. And also buy some of the new gem design jewelry that I'll be coming out with in a couple of months. But that's not what this is about. This is about, hold on, let me check what this is about. Oh, yeah, manufacturing coming back to America. And what else did I put in there? Something else. Let's see. I forgot what the first part was. Oh yeah, zero inflation. So that's what this is about here. Let's see. First off, let's talk a little bit about how you drop inflation and change things in an economy that's changing. If you want to be a manufacturing country and change from a country that is, how shall we say, a consumer nation, you have to get lots of money to invest in different things because Americans don't have money. We're killing it with inflation. So what we do is we get, let's see, what I asked was how many trillions of dollars are pledged to be invested in America. And this is what the AI overview said. It said it's difficult to pinpoint an exact number, but the White House has touted over $5 trillion in new investments secured during President Trump's second term. This includes a significant amount of foreign investment, such as $600 billion from Saudi, and large pledges from U.S. companies like Project Stargaze, $500 billion, Apple, $500 billion, Nvidia, $500 billion. Additionally, AEU has committed $1.4 billion investment over a 10-year framework. Here's a breakdown. Project Stargate, a private investment of $500 billion based in artificial intelligence infrastructure. What infrastructure means is you got to build something. They're building something because they're going to make something. That is called building for manufacturing. So we have 500 billion right there. Okay, Apple, 500 billion in US manufacturing and training. So there's 1 trillion going just to manufacturing. Nvidia, 500 billion in US based AI infrastructure and AI supercomputer manufactured entirely in the US. Again, are they going to buy houses and put these things in houses, or are they going to build factories to manufacture? So now we're at 1.5 billion in new money coming in to America for manufacturing. Saudi Arabia has committed 600 billion, 1.4 trillion from over 10 years from the AEU. TSMC, 100 billion based in U.S. chip manufacturing. Another $100 billion. IBM invests over 5 years based on this growth and in manufacturing. So we got $5 trillion coming to America for manufacturing alone. Not for buying stuff from China to give to us cheap because we're a consumer nation. No, that's coming to an end. And this is what people don't understand when they talk about these. They talk about, oh, inflation this, inflation that. All the numbers the people are going after are numbers based off of us being a consumer nation. We are changing our base economy to a production and manufacturing economy, adding a digital component at the same time. And we're going to probably be reevaluating gold within the next year or so. Everything's changing. There's over 5 billion. I've heard numbers as high as 10 trillion, 5 trillion. Over 10 trillion will be invested in America for manufacturing. That is 5 years of America's GDP invested into our country for manufacturing. So if anyone, YouTubers or not, says that manufacturing is not coming back to America, I suggest you take the blinders off and do a little research and quit listening to other YouTubers who also have blinders on. America is becoming a manufacturing nation again. You've heard Trump say when he was talking to the Prime Minister of Canada, we don't need their steel. We don't need their wood. We don't need any of their products. We're going to make our own. What's that mean? That means POTUS, the president and leader of the greatest nation on the planet and the richest nation on the planet, wants to move to be in a manufacturing economy, meaning we're going to make things. To make things, you got to build the buildings. I'm an iron worker. We're building buildings. So if anyone says manufacturing's not coming back to America, don't listen to them, because I just given you proof here of over $5 trillion of investment coming to America specifically for manufacturing. I challenge each and every one of you watching to look up and see how many trillions get invested into retail sales in America every year from foreign companies, or what is it? Buying stuff from other countries. How many people invest in America so we can buy stuff from other countries? How many trillions did they invest for us to do that? They invest zero for that because they're selling us shit. That's changing. We're going to start making stuff, and we're going to make some of the best stuff in the world, and the whole world's going to want to buy our stuff, which means we're not going to be a consumer nation. We're going to be back to a manufacturing nation. Or, as POTUS has said, we're going to have a golden age. 1921, 1922, we had silent depression. It ended in 18 months because the government didn't do anything. The government pretty much hasn't done anything in the past 18 months. We've actually been through what I consider a silent depression, and we're coming out of it in the next couple months, maybe 5-6 months. We'll be coming out of what I call the silent depression of the 21st century. And that's going to bring on the boom of the roaring 20s, a repeat of 1920s, 21, 22, silent depression, and the roaring 20s. So it's a repeat. It's going to happen. We're changing over to a manufacturing nation. Anyone who sees that and positions themselves properly is going to understand what it means to live in the golden age of America. I myself am putting together a white paper right now to go for about a $35 million loan. Yep, $35 million loan, small business loan from the government to manufacture yachts in America. So there you go. I know I'm going to be making stuff in America. So I know there's other people out there too, considering everyone else can see this chart that you're showing right now of over $5 trillion investment in American manufacturing. Holy macaroni and cheese. Is that a lot of money? And again, I challenge everyone to look to see how much money countries have poured into us in the past 4 years when we didn't want to be a manufacturing nation, but a consumer sellout nation. We're leaving the consumerisms. We're going to be manufacturing everything we need here. Well, not everything, but the majority of what we need here in this country. And that is also great for my industry, the steel industry, because that to have a manufacturing nation, the steel industry has to be the backbone. And they're taking and building back infrastructure for the steel industry as we speak. I think Japan invested $500 billion to $1 trillion. What's up, gold and silver, into rebuilding American steel manufacturing. So that's the first base part of having a manufacturing based economy is controlling your steel that you produce to make the stuff. So we will be a manufacturing nation. And I believe Elon Musk's $10,000, $12,000, $20,000 robots, yes, they will do a lot of work. But you know what? Just like in every changing economy, there's going to be work. The guys who carried around ice and delivered milk in the 40s and 50s thought the world was going to end when the refrigerator came around. But did their whole family line die out? No. The guys that carried ice and delivered milk got another job in that new technologically advanced society where we created refrigerators. The exact same thing's going to happen right now in this change of technological change that we're coming up to. New technologies are going to blow you away over the next year or two that are coming out. And everyone who's staying on top of this, which should be everybody, but obviously they're not, it knows that we're going to be a manufacturing nation, and you need to position yourself in anything that's going to be built here in America. More importantly, you should actually try and build something yourself and go for a small business loan to build something yourself here in America. Products that we used to get from other countries. Try and find one that's economically feasible to 3D print or manufacture using maybe a $10,000 or $20,000 robot to manufacture a widget for you. So that way that little robot can sit at a desk manufacturing a widget for you 24/7, 365. Yeah, you're not working, but you're making money, huh? Is that a way to make money with robots taking over the world? Yes, it is for those people who see that advantage. And if Elon Musk is coming out with fucking robots that are less than a car, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, first thing I'm going to do is take advantage of buying myself a work robot, because I have a project right here that I could have that robot working on 24/7 that would make me millions of dollars. So I'll have a robot making me money. It's going to be great. I hope everyone catches on to my thought process. Yeah, it's something like that. There's going to be money to be made this year, big time, and that's what people aren't counting on or seeing is a lot of Americans are going to make crap loads of money by the end of this year, and every one of them is going to reinvest it, and that's going to stimulate the economy. Whether you don't want to be a part of it, it's going to mean more jobs for you, and if you do want to be a part of it, it's going to mean more money for you. You just have to be able to see the transition that we're going through. The robot with AI, I could have sit down at a desk right now and manufacture this one thing I'm working on that takes me a half hour to do one. I could have an AI robot do 48 of them a day, 7 days a week. I can sell one of those things for $3,500. So now we're looking at I'm a millionaire if I get a $10,000 robot to do the work for me. Hold on, wait. Did I just say have a robot do the work for me to where I don't have to work, where I can go on vacation and know that I'm making money? Yeah, exactly. That's one reason I believe they're making these robots so damn cheap for people who can think to take advantage of this stuff so that they too can have a robot work for them. We just have to have an open mind, think about things, realize that we're not going to be importing as much, that we're going to have to start manufacturing here. So find something out there that you can do from your house. And if you could get an AI, a robot, an artificial intelligent robot for $10,000 to do that one thing for you constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, well, now that's the same as you working all those hours, but you're not working them, the robot is. That's how the next generation of rich people are going to become rich. And that's one thing I advocate for. Yeah, a robot might take my job as an iron worker. Okay. So I'm going to have a robot rebuild engines for me. And I'm going to start having people pay me to rebuild their engines, not me, but my robot. My robot's going to rebuild the engines. That's just a facsimile. I'm not going to do rebuilding the engine. I'm just throwing stuff out there that people can do rebuilding. I know carburetors are outdated, but you could have a robot sit down all day and just rebuild carburetors and sell the rebuilt carburetors. Old tools that are broken, you could have the robot sitting down in front of a workshop for 24/7, 365, repairing just old broken tools, making them like new again, and then you can resell them. You're not doing the actual work. You're just providing the materials and then selling it. So there's a big, big chance to make money. There you go. And you can do lots of things. You could have robots pool wiring, run wiring, dig ditches for you. If you have a plumbing company or a septic company and you have to replace septic tanks, man, it sounds like a 2-robot job to me. So now you've invested 20, 30,000 on 2 robots that are going to be shoveling all day and uncovering shit. You don't even need a damn a heavy lifter to move the sand and move the soil. You just need it once you uncover everything, and then you could have the robots, and a robot worker can be more precise on angles. Comes in real handy for septic systems, because when you do your drainage ditches, they have to be at a certain percentage downward grade, so that way all the septic runs down all the leach lines equally, so it doesn't build up. So I mean, there's lots of good possibilities. You just got to change your thinking on how to make money, and you will make millions of dollars with robotic technology and using robots. Exactly. Download the plans and let them rock and roll. They follow instructions. They'll follow the plans. And with the visual and optical units added to them, they can actually tell in real time if the plan is actually the physical thing they're working with and make adjustments. So there's ways to make money with robots. And if robots are $10,000 to $15,000 a piece, dude, I know several things that I could have a robot do. I could have them, like I said, just sit down and work with my gyms 24/7, 365, and I won't have to work with them. I'll just have a finished product that I have to sell. And the robot did all the work. I could go work my job as an iron worker, come home and have the robot done with 6 or 7 of my gyms while I'm at work doing iron work. I'd talk about double dipping. You just got to find, I mean, when people think about robots replacing, the first thing they do is they go negative. Oh, the robot's going to take over everything and kill me. Yeah, okay, maybe in 30 or 40 years, if that's what you want, that probably will happen, because perception is reality. But if you perceive reality differently and look at it more positively, you can see the next age is coming, the golden age. And in the 80s, a friend and I AD part of a nuke plant. Right on. But yeah, just look at things positively and how things that can be affected in a positive way with the robotic technology. Here's another thing. People don't like wood cutting, chopping wood into firewood. Again, two robotic units, one operating the splitter, one bringing the wood in. Boom. Now you've got, all you got to do is you got to go out and you can start a lumber company selling firewood by yourself without doing any of the hard work. So now you're self-employed, and this is why I've been telling people for years, start a small mom and pops company, because I've known this robotic technology is going to be coming around and they can replace a lot of the workers. And yeah, the poor workers, if you have a worker mindset, you're always going to be poor. Sorry, hate it for you. You know, you're at the wrong channel. I want to see people get rich, not stay poor. That's what change your perspectives and gain advantage from the technologies, and don't let it smother you. And that all comes with your perspective and the way you view things and the way you view it coming. I'm sure the ice deliverer who brought ice to houses in the 40s and 50s and the milkman who brought milk thought the world was ending when the new invention of the robotic refrigerator came around. But you know what that stimulated? That stimulated the need for bottles and cans and everything else, and people to work to make those things for you to fill that refrigerator. So in actuality, getting rid of the Iceman and the milkman because of the creation, technological innovation of the refrigerator actually created more jobs than were lost by the milkman and the ice delivering man. People are just looking at things improperly. We've been taught by this TV and computers that we watch improper thought perspectives. And they don't teach the real reality of truth. And the real reality is our country has to stay fucking productive. We're not going to bring in technologies that'll cause us to be unproductive and fall to a third world standard. That is not how things evolve. If that's your mindset, you're just damn wrong. Everything America is going to do is going to increase our space in this planet and keep us number one. Your negativity is irrelevant to facts. It's just your negativity is going to end you up in a lower position than everyone else who's got a more positive perspective and sees that, oh, I'm going to lose my job as a milkman, but hey, I can go work at the Pepsi bottling factory and make more money and get a retirement there instead of being a milkman because my job went away because the new robotic technology of refrigeration came around. It's just another cycle. And it's not a bad cycle. It's a positive cycle. It's what they're doing, I believe, is they're trying to get people to be negative so that way they don't go out and seize the opportunity that is coming, because there is crap loads of opportunity coming. And those people that grab it are going to be wealthy. You just need a cutoff switch. You don't. That's all you need. You need an on-off switch. If you have an on-off switch for a robotic unit that you just push and it just powers down, boom, problem solved. And as far as that, people getting freaky and thinking, oh, well, you know, the government's going to program them to where they'll spy on us. Okay, well, you know, put in your request for a new chip that you pay to manufacture and change out the chip in the robot to do what you want, and make sure that it has safeguards in it for no back doors, and that problem solved. Bingo, problem solved. You manipulated the wiring and the computer brain of your robotic unit not to do that. There you go. Because see, it's a robot. They program it to do something. You can program it not to do something. It's again, perspective. And anything they do, you can do. It's a freaking robot. It's programmed. It's just a matter of doing it. And people want to buy things and have things already set and perfect. That's not how it works, man. If you think those robots are going to turn against you, change out the chip. Have you manufacture your own chip. Have someone you know. Pay someone to manufacture a chip for you and code it for what you want, and then put that back in the robot. And boom, you took care of all the problems of anyone controlling your robot. You got to remember, humans are making these things. They might make robots that make robots one day, but right now, humans are making them. Yeah, I did see that. I did see that. What's up, Silver Spice? Yeah, and that's why, and if you saw that, also Gold and Silver, you see the other guy pulled it back and pushed a button that shut him off. Also, there was a chess robot in Russia that it was an AI chess robot. Got pissed at the little 10-year-old kid it was playing with and broke his finger. So, yeah, but that's all coded. It's all programmed in. Those things can be programmed out. Yeah, you know, technology, you guys, it's experimental at first. Yeah, a remote on-off switch, exactly. And if you have a remote on-off switch, yeah, someone else can turn it on and off, whatever. Okay, change the frequency. You own the robot. It's in your possession. You pay someone to come in that you trust to code or do the electronics on that robot to change whatever you need to where it only, the on-off switch only works for your device and no external remote device can be used other than yours. These things can be done if you just think about it. Yeah, it takes a $10,000 robot, maybe makes it a $20,000 robot, but then you feel safe. And then you can sit down and let that robot make millions for you. As you're in Hawaii on vacation, that robot will still be making whatever it is that you have it making, and you won't have to pay it. DARPA's way further advanced than the Japanese, brother. I've seen, and trust me, if you see a video of a DARPA robot, they're like 20 generations past that. They're not going to show you the best. And I've actually seen a concept prototype of it looks like a panther or a large cat that you can ride on like a horse, but it's totally robotic. And it's from Kawasaki. Let me see if I can get that video up, actually. Let's see. Here it is. Let me go ahead and share screen so you guys can see this as well. Kawasaki robot you can ride. Let me go back over here, make this full screen, and show you what they're working on. I know it's not that big, but let's see what it has to say. Kawasaki Heavy Industries has developed a concept robot called Corleo, a four-legged robot that humans can ride like a horse or a wolf. It's powered by hydrogen. Hello, new technology needing platinum. In case you've wondered why I've been screaming buy platinum for so long and telling you new technology's coming that's going to require a lot more platinum and you should buy it now. Okay, let's get back to this here. Like a horse or a wolf, it's powered by hydrogen and designed for an off-road exploration, each leg moving independently for stability and balance. Riders control Corleo through body weight shifts, making it feel more like an animal than a machine. Let's see about a video. Let me see if you guys can see this video. Okay. You can. Skip.
A wild glimpse of the future. One where you could actually ride a robotic beast through nature like it is a scene straight out of a science fiction film. Meet the Corleo, a four-legged rideable robot that blends the essence of a horse, the agility of a leopard, and the tech DNA of a robot. Think of it as a robotic all-terrain vehicle, but instead of wheels, it walks, runs, and leaps on legs. Unveiled for the upcoming 2025 Osaka Expo, Corleo is not just another futuristic display. It is a concept for the year 2050 that explores how personal transportation might evolve in the coming decades. The idea is to replace conventional vehicle designs with machines that interact more naturally with humans and landscapes. Kawasaki has fitted Corleo with some impressive features: independent legs, hydrogen engine power, and motion-based steering that responds to the rider's weight shifts. The company says this system allows for a real connection between the rider and the robot, aiming to preserve the joy of riding while making it feel intuitive and responsive. Right now, Corleo is still in its early concept stage and cannot do much beyond limited movement, but the vision is clear. It might be decades away, but it feels more realistic than flying cars. For now, we can only imagine what it would feel like to ride through snow, forests, and rugged terrain
That is kind of cool.
on a high-tech robo creature. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you will not miss any futuristic rides like this one.
And there you go. What do you think about that, huh? And that's concept design they're working on. So if you want to know where robotics is taking us, Japan just gave you a vision of what they see as robotics being in the year 2050. And that's the vision that they're throwing billions of dollars at making into a reality. So that is one vision of the future that they've already put out. So it didn't look like it was a killer robot. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Silver Spice. You said, do not forget something. Yeah, it's a future concept design. There's issues they've got to overcome. I'm sure insurance companies are going to jump their ass for safety, because what happens, you saw in that video they showed, it was jumping over a small gorge, just like a horse or a wolf would. But when if you're an insurance company, you look at that, you're thinking liability and how much will it cost to insure that thing. That's a total different story. But then that's where you get into insurance companies blocking technology, because that Michael J. Fox movie, Back to the Future, when they had the floating hoverboard, that's actually real. They actually created a floating hoverboard around the same time that movie was released. The only problem was insurance companies wouldn't insure it, because you could be riding along and the power quit, it hit the ground, and if you're over water, boom, everything goes in the water, lots of issues. So the insurance company wouldn't insure it, so they quit going forward with that technology, even though they developed that technology into a working model ready for sale. Insurance companies stepped in and said, no, we will not insure any of this or be any part of any lawsuit that comes from this. So no one would finance that company, so it never got created. So we've had that technology of the floating hover skateboard since the late 80s, early 90s. So I just wanted to show you that video to show you the thought processes and where companies, bigger companies that are into the robotics, are putting their money. What's up, Tom? And where the direction is that they're going with that money. And as far as the robotics goes, like I said, they're not looking to take away your life and replace you, and it's where your neighbors all around you are all robots and you're the only human in the city. That's not the future they're seeing. That's the fucking worst case scenario. People think about Terminator and robots. And the reality of what robots are going to be is they're going to be very advantageous, and they're going to do just what happened in the 40s and 50s with the Milkman and Iceman, with the new technology of a refrigerator coming along. You no longer needed those two career choices. Those two careers died. No, you don't even have a grandfather that used to do a milk delivery or ice delivery. That's how archaic that form of income in our economy in the turn of last century was. Okay, so we're 180 years past that. New technology is coming around. Lots of industries, lots of job skills are going to go away. But for everyone to go away, again, I go back to the example of the Iceman or the Milkman. Those two careers went away because of the invention of the refrigerator. But hold on. In the invention of the refrigerator, they had to build and maintain warehouses and factories and assembly plants and assembly lines for the creation of that refrigerator, and they had to hire a lot of people to make that refrigerator. So for every job that was lost, 5 was created. And that's the same thing's going to happen now. Most people, hopefully, will see that job creation through their own robotic units. And you start your own company, small mom and pops, and just allow it to again, find something that you would consider monotonous, but still work worthy and payable for, like assembling motherboards. Very meticulous, boring, repetitive job. You can have a $10,000 robot sit down. You can program it to do it for you, and you can walk away and it'll create them left, right, and center as you're doing something else. So now you have a $10,000 permanent employee that works 24/7, needs no workers' comp, needs no pay, needs no work breaks, no bathroom breaks. There's no drama. How successful is that small company going to be? Huh? Sounds like it's going to be very successful. And you're going to own it along with 1 or 2 robots, and you're going to create it. And no, not everyone in America is going to do that. But if about 10% of us do that, that'll be 10% of us poor people that become independently wealthy until a new technology comes around to get rid of the robot. Like I said, I'm going to be, when I start my catamaran company, I'm going to fill every position with as many robotic units as possible. I'll still have human employees, but the positions where it's a high liability, dealing with the resin or the fiberglass, that's all bad for your health, dealing with that shit. You stick a robotic unit in there to handle that. You keep the humans away from it. You lower your liability insurance. You lower your workman's comp. You increase your profit margin. It's just that you got to look at it in the right way. Yes, and you can work them 24/7. Exactly. I have later this year, you'll see a new style of gym design that I got coming out. It would be perfect to have a robotic unit just sit at a desk and create that after I program it to create it. It could sit there and just create this gym design that I'm doing meticulously and perfectly. Each one take about a half hour, 45 minutes. I could go to work as an iron worker, come home after 11 hours, driving time of about 3 hours. So 11 hours away from the house, I could come back and my robot would have finished 13 gyms that I could sell for a couple thousand each. Hey, what's up, the Broke Stacker? So while I'm at work, I could have this robotic unit making something consecutively, meticulously, doing the same routine, not moving, not doing no security, nothing, not cleaning my house, not checking my underwear, not looking for security, programmed just to do this one monotonous task. And it do it over and over and over and over again while I go do my thing. Now I'm doubled my income. Actually, more like quadrupled my income, because he's working harder than I would. Because when I come back from my 11-hour day, I could only put in maybe 3 hours on the gym work, which means I get 3, maybe 4 gyms done, where he could get 13 or 14 done, the robot, while I'm at work. So that would increase my income. The robot would pay for himself within a month. That's how you need to start looking at this new technology. If you look at it properly and see how you can best take advantage of it, yeah, people are, you know what? This is the good thing about humanity. People can use the excuse of, oh, well, people are going to suffer. Yeah, they're suffering today. They're going to suffer tomorrow, and they suffered yesterday. Not a damn thing you or technology can do about it. Those are personal choices those people made to suffer. Because they chose not to see. They chose not to move. They chose free will given by Christ. They chose. Now they suffer. All I want to do is see people choose properly so you can prosper. What's up, One Piece? Because if you do that, again, robotic units at $10,000 for a worker. We're not talking about he's going to do security and open up your vault and your front door and invite all the drug dealers over. You program it to do one task. Now, I'm just talking in this one specific manner. There, you could probably okay, here's another one. A seamstress, a robotic seamstress. Wow. If things get real expensive and blue jeans go to $150 a pair, trust me, seamstressing will be a thing again, because it'll be cheaper to repair those jeans and buy a new set. So you have a seamstress robot. Son of a bitch works 24/7 doing repairs. You're getting paid for it. And then while you're going to work, it's doing repair seamstressing for you. See, you just put your mind to that concept, and you can find a lot of things a robotic unit could do to single use things, not complicated, not extravagant, not putting your security at risk at your house. Just a single monotonous job that can be done by a robotic unit that could benefit you financially. Wow, I can think of lots of them, man. Have it operate in a wood split machine for firewood cells. Have it do seamstressing. Have it doing the gym thing that I'm going to be doing. There's lots of things that computers or robots can do that can benefit your life. And if you look at it in a positive manner, you'll see more opportunity, and that opportunity brings you more wealth. And as you have more wealth, well, if there's a million good people that have millions of dollars instead of a million bad people, I imagine our country would be a million times better off. So what I want to try and do is encourage good people to have a proper mindset, a way to look at things, to be productive and prosperous in a positive manner, and not look at it as the negativity, or as I like to call it, the theory of stupidity by Erich Bonhoeffer, and how Nazism got started in World War II or before World War II. Well, the same thing's applying right now. They're making people stupid, think stupid things, and not do the right thing, and they're not going to benefit in the long run, all because of propaganda. And it's changing the mindset of everybody. Negative mindsets bring negative results. That's all I can say. Yes, robots are coming. More technology than that's coming. But here's the thing. If you have a robotic unit doing your work for you, if you bought it for $10,000 cheaper than a damn car, you can buy two of them for less than a car. And you have them working for you, making money. What's that do for your time? Now you can do whatever the hell you want. You're actually free. Because you have one or two robotic units working, doing the log splitting and stacking. So you don't have to break your back and waste your time doing it. You're out there now drinking lemonade at the pool while you're making money because your robotic unit's doing those mediocre tasks for you. There are positive aspects of robotic units. Yeah, a robot sweeps the floor. You know, that's mundane task and it's not profitable, but a thing they've already got robots doing. You got robots that can mow the grass. You know, that's the stupid thought process of how robotics can make you money. But it does show that robotics does take and make your life easier. So in the same instance of making life easier, that robotic unit, the Roomba robot, makes the broke stacker's life easier because he doesn't have to sweep his floor. Well, if you have a humanoid robot for $10,000, again, sit it down in front of some a parts making machine or a repair machine and just have it work for you, just like the Roomba robot works for you. Have that robot work for you, but instead of the Roomba robot, it just cleans the floor. It doesn't make you money. The humanoid robot unit that costs $10,000 can actually make you money, earn you more money than you make. So now if you have this robotic unit and you're sitting it down and it's only repairing, let me get another example. Alternator, rebuilding alternators. Okay, so, or fixing microwaves. If you sit it down just to do that, you are now a microwave repair shop with 0 employees, 0 workman's comp, 0 insurance for your employees, 0 taxes for your employees. You see the savings? Do you see the savings? You just saved 40% of the cost of having a machine shop, having a robotic unit, and you're making more money. Hello? That's the way you need to look at the robotic units. Don't worry about the people who don't look at it that way. They're not going to look at it that way. They're going to get left behind. Going to be poor people in this world because they don't want to see things or view things in the proper manner that will make them or allow them the opportunity to make they choose not to see it that way. You cannot help that. What you can help is your perspective. And if your perspective is a more positive and enlightened, historically accurate perspective, you can prosper better and not get thrown around with all this FUD. Technology has never worked against us. It has always worked on our behalf. And it always will. Because without us, what's the use of this world? Why are they doing what they're doing? It's all for humanity. Yeah, sure. There's some crazy people out there. I can name several of them throughout history that tried to kill us all, but they didn't. And if you're more positive about life, you'll be in a better position where people try and kill you. Well, check this out. You have a robot working for you, making you 4 times as much money as you can make on your own because he's working 24/7, 365. So his paycheck is 24 hours a day. So in 2 days, he has 48 hours where you get 40 hours in a 5-day work week. In 7 days, you only get 40 hours. Your robotic unit's working 48 hours in 2 of those days. How much more money can that robotic unit make you? So why do you need to work? All you need to do is plan things out, stage things out so that you can keep your robotic worker making you 4 times your annual salary. Actually, more than that, about 6 times, because you're not having to pay workman's comp, liability insurance, and all this other stuff. Yeah, robot scam callers. That's a misnomenclature. It's actually a computer program. It's not a robot, but they call it robot scam callers. But that's how they get you to have a negative inclination about robotic units by misnaming things like robot scam callers. They're actually programmed microchip scam callers, not robotics at all. Just part of what you would use in a robot they use for the scam calls. But in saying robot scam callers, you have a negative indentation. Anyhow, you have a negative thought of robotic units because you are in your mind, you're putting them to scam callers and all the bad stuff. And that's how people keep good people from making money before it's time to make money. You got a bad impression of it. You're not going to look at it seriously in a positive manner to how it can actually work because you're getting hit with the negative thoughts. Psychological, was it? Yeah, I guess it'd be a psychological. It's where like every 10th frame of a picture is something with it. Subliminal. It's like a subliminal. You're getting fed that robotic units are bad, so you're not looking at it in a light that you could take greatest advantage of because you've been hit subliminally with messaging over your whole lifetime of robotic units are bad. I mean, you go back to Lost in Space, go back in the 50s, the first fucking alien that came down, black and white movie was a robot, so you can't tell me that I'm not right on this one. Well, see, that's the thing. And yes, you will. A lot of people will lose their jobs. Again, the Iceman lost his job and the Milkman lost his job and his company when refrigerators were made. Did the world end? Did we quit surviving and advancing when a lot of people lost their jobs to the refrigerator? Because that was a technological advance. The next technological advance is AI. Will people lose their jobs? Yeah. Are there going to be greater opportunities? Hell yes. Are you going to see them? Not if you're looking at it negatively. See, it's so you sink you before you get started in your thought process by getting knowledge from places that are inaccurate or leading you to negative thought processes. I want to lead people towards a positive thought processes and show you how you can actually make money off of robots and robotic units. So that the reason why we have always had poor people throughout history, it's not because they wanted to be rich. I'm sure all of them wanted to be rich, but none of them did what it took to be rich. And throughout the thousands of years of human history, there are more poor people than rich people. Why? Because they are fed negativity and they're not positive. They can't see the reality of how things can change positively for them with the changes going on around them, and they look at it negatively. If you look at something negatively, what you're going to get is negative feedback. Therefore, you're not going to have any positive from it, so therefore you won't advance, so you're always going to stay poor. You can't help those people. All you can do is start a channel like I am and talk to people and try and show through words and a couple of videos of having a different thought perspective or thought pattern and how that can change your whole economic future. Boy, howdy, 100% true. It's the reality. It's coming. But also the reality of that coming. Hey, what's up, Saran? The reality of that coming is new opportunities. Like I said, I'll buy a $10,000 robot to run a firewood cutting operation, to where it's standing there 24/7, 365, rain, sleet, snow, doesn't matter, just cutting firewood. How much more productive can that be than me being out there doing it? Because I couldn't do it 24/7, 365, rain, sleet, snow, hail. It can. So obviously more firewood's going to get cut and split and yards stacked by using a robotic unit than with me doing it. That's just one application. There's tens of thousands of applications of robots where individuals can make 5 to 7 times their annual income just by having that robot do a one monotonous task for you. You know, sewing, repairs, work for sewing, reglazing windows. There you go. Or here's one, you know, get them out there to re-roof. No one wants to do that. If you can get your robotic unit to re-roof, trust me, nobody wants to fucking tear shingles off. We always say, oh, well, the illegal aliens will do it because no American will do it. Okay, take a robot and get rid of the illegals. That way the job still gets done. It didn't take any Americans' jobs, and we got rid of the illegals. There's a positive. Now we don't need as many illegals because we have robots. Oh, no one's going to pick the fruit. Only the illegals can. Okay, let's throw robots out there. That way we don't need the illegals, so we take care of the illegal problem, and we still have things picking our fruit since Americans aren't going to take that job. You see the positive effects of robots? It takes away the arguments of we need illegals to do it because Americans won't take the job. And now everyone's crying, oh, robots are going to take our jobs. Yeah, the ones we don't want, that we need illegals for, and we don't want illegals. So how do you solve that problem? Replace the illegals with robots. There's like 10 million jobs out there supposedly can be replaced with robots right now because there's over 10 million illegals working. So there's 10 million jobs robots can take without affecting you one bit. You got to look at things differently. It also takes away the argument of immigration, illegal immigration. We no longer need to support illegal immigration because we don't need people to pick our fruits or mow our lawns. Robotic units replace those, and not one American job will be lost because not one American job's using it right now because they're saying illegals are taking those jobs. Okay, there you go. Boom, 2 for 1. Positivity, people. And not one American job will be lost, and 10 million robots will be working. So, gee, it's going to take a while before we get 100 million robots out there. So first 10 million are going to take jobs Americans don't want that they say illegals are here for. You know how much money that'll save America? Anyhow, as usual, links pinned to the top if anyone wants to come up and give their thoughts on anything we're talking about. But it started off with there's going to be no less than 5 trillion and up to as much as $10 trillion invested into American manufacturing. So if anyone tells you manufacturing is not coming back to America, ask them how companies are spending $5 to $10 trillion on making that happen, and it's not going to happen. I mean, seriously, it's like, are they going to donate all the money to the Biden fund? Because that's the only way you can not get things done and spend money. What's up, Gerald? But each of these individual companies is responsible for their money, so they're going to want to return investments. They're going to guarantee that no less than $5 trillion of new manufacturing has already been brought to America. The money has been delegated to make it happen. $5 to $10 trillion. Go throughout history and look and tell me a time in history when so much money was thrown at something in America to make it happen. Oh, is it Gerald's birthday today? Or is it his dad's birthday? I seem to think it's his birthday since he said he was going to be 2 years older than me again. Well, that puts you at what? 72? Or hold on, wait, I'll get it right. See, if he was a woman, he'd be pissed at me right now for giving away his age. Age is just a number, brother. It's just a number. Start treating yourself right and cleansing yourself. You'll live a lot longer than everyone else, where that number won't be nearly as much. But anyhow, yeah, manufacturing is coming back to America. Everyone who says it's not on YouTube, you're wrong. And I'm not going to name names. You guys, if you watch them, you know people who say, oh, manufacturing's never coming back to America. I just gave you evidence. It's coming. And a tidal wave bigger than any economic tidal wave that's ever hit this country. It's coming. Take care, gold and silver. Have a great day, my friend. But yeah, manufacturing is coming back to America. Change in technological and economic systems is coming. Position yourself properly. Start your own company. Look at Tesla's freaking robots and maybe buy a couple to put to work for you. When you start your new company, your employees will be robots and you'll have no workman's comp insurance, which saves you 40% of your profit margin before you get started. And yeah, lots of good money to be made. Saved. A penny saved is a penny earned. If you're not paying for workman's comp and you're not paying hourly wage and you're still manufacturing something, oh my God, that's like heaven employment. No drama. No one's calling in sick. No workman's comp. No insurance. No breaks. No smoke breaks. No anything. Oh, my dog's got to go into surgery. I'm not coming into work today. None of that. It's like a owner's dream. So stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. And I don't mean a 500 employees. No, one robotic employee. Replace you doing what you're doing that you can only do 40 hours a week. Let it do 48 hours in 2 days. So that way the next 5 24-hour periods are pure profit. Holy shit. So that means you're quadrupling your salary easily. What's up, Indy? We still have ladder logic, microprogrammable logic controller, distributed control systems. And that's where I said when you get if you buy a robot to do this task, take out its computer chip and have it reprogrammed by someone that you are paying to do it, to do just that one task and ignore all the other tasks. So that way it sits there and does that one thing. A fire could come along, burn your house down. That robot would still be there burning, doing that one thing. That way you can guarantee no independent actions will come from that robot. So you don't have to worry about it being overrode its programming, because you paid to have the chip that it runs off of changed where you had it programmed, not someone else. You guys be good. Sorry, cats are getting a little restless. But manufacturing is coming back to America. The pathways of the government are opening up for Americans to get small business loans to open up for manufacturing. In other words, I could get a loan from the government to buy that robot, have it programmed to do my gym work. And it could all be done off of a government small business loan. And I could have something working for me 24/7, 365 without any expense other than the expense of buying the robot and having it programmed. And I can get a government small business loan to do that. So there's absolutely no reason, other than your lack of creativity and thought, that you can't be an owner of a company of one employee, one robot employee. That's all you need. And you could make 5 to 10 times as much personal salary just by owning one and putting it to work doing one thing. Repairing alternators. Sits there all day, repairs alternators, repairs old tools. Sits there all day long just repairing old tools, making them work. You can buy an old tool for $1, make it work, and sell it for 50. And you don't spend any of your personal time doing it. Your robot's doing it. See, there's lots of things. You just got to think. Be creative in your thinking. Now, if you want to go, oh, I want to be a billionaire. Okay, buy 100 of them, build an assembly plant for $15 million and, make something worthy of all that money. Not everyone can do that. So think in the realms of your life, what you can do, then make a robot do it, because it can do it 10 times more than you can and for free. As far as expense, as employee expense is zero. If you can have a one employee that doesn't cost you any money, you're going to be rich. That's all I'm saying. Well, Snooks, you just keep delivering that ice from your ice truck. The refrigerators are coming out. You'll lose your job soon enough. It's coming whether you want it to or not. Take advantage of it. And it's happened throughout history, as you weren't here for it. But there used to be icemen and milkmen at one point in time, until a technological revolution came around called refrigerators. And those two industries of icemen and milk delivery men, those all careers, they lost their careers. And America didn't die. As a matter of fact, we expanded, because in the making of those refrigerators, it took more people than the 1 or 2 per town iceman and milkman. So actually more people got work. Well, Snooks, then you can get a robot that does something to make you money. So that way you can increase your bank account instead of it staying marginally the same or decreasing. You don't use ice on anything, because we got rid of the ice industry a long time ago because of refrigeration. See how technology changes your thought prospects over time? What's up, P Nice? There's going to be a lot of money in that, P Nice. There's going to be a lot of money in that. You could pimp out your freaking love bot. There's money in everything. Trust me, sex sells. There's going to be people doing that shit. You can guarantee it. Sin is going to be there. But that's not what we're promoting. We're promoting good thoughts, good things that you can do with robotic technology. And like I said, have it repair something, sitting in a little shed, just repairing things. The same thing over and over again. Radiator repair for cars. You know how many radiators are out there that could use repairs? Yeah, Snooks, you do. And let me ask you this. Do you think the expense of repairing and maintaining a robot would be more than one human 40-hour wage? Because if you think of the one human 40-hour wage, say they're getting, let's keep it easy, say they're getting $10 an hour. So there's $400. Now you've got to match the taxes that they pay. You have to match that. So they're going to pay, say, 10% tax. So now that's $4 comes out of their check, but it also comes out of your end. So now that employee costs you, oh, excuse me, we went $10. Okay, so 40% for workman's comp. So we're looking at $14 for that employee just with workman's comp. $16 you're paying for that employee. At $10 you're paying $16 with tax, because you got to match tax and insurance. Ooh, there's some more insurance. You got to cover that. So that employee you're paying $10 is costing you $20 an hour. If you can negate that $20 an hour and still make the money that guy's cost, because you're going to hire that employee at $10 an hour, he's going to cost you $20. He has to be making you $40 an hour for it to be advantageous for you to hire him at 10. So if you replace that employee with a robot that you're not paying $20 an hour for, that's $20 an hour more profit you're making, and you're not working. But you can value him all day long. Value. Go ahead and value. You're going to get left behind in the economy, and people will still value humans, because the Iceman was valued too until he got a job as a truck driver because he wasn't delivering ice, because technology came around. He still had value. You don't use feelings to affect your vision. You can join Mother Teresa and have great feelings all day long, but if you don't act on them, they're irrelevant. So if you want to help people, buy a robot, start a company just with that one robot that you don't have to pay, and you'll have not only free time, but more money. So then you can value people with free time and money because they will value that more. You ask your grandkids or kids, what do they value, money or time? They'll say your time. Well, your time just got freed up. So there's more value for your kids. So if you value your kids, you'll get a robot because it'll untie you up from your time, which they want. And time is one thing you can't get back. So apparently you need to readjust your value on humans, because by not having robots, you're taking away your personal time that humans value. You're freely giving that time away for work that a robot could be doing, and you could have that value of the human time of 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week that you don't have now. So I value humans too. Just the way I value them, from my perspective, is more valuable than you value humans. It's all in perspective. Yeah, and that's the sunk pattern there, Snooks, because once the bills start going up, if your income doesn't match, then you don't have enough to pay your bills anymore. And one thing about the economy, things always get more expensive. You know, gas used to be 25 cents. I just saw a report last night. Gavin Newsom wants to drive it up to $8 a gallon. That's 1,600% higher. So I hope my retirement keeps going up to catch up with all them expenses that keep going up. If not, I'm going to be on the street with a small amount of money that 10 years ago used to be able to handle my living expenses, but I didn't increase the ability to earn, so I lost everything. Right on, Snooks, and that's cool. You're content, and that's cool. Everyone, and this is why not everyone's going to be rich. Content and rich are not the same thing. I want people to have money. I want people to have money without working for it, so they can take their valuable time and spend it with their kids and grandkids on vacation. We're out camping instead of at work. And I want to see the family unit together, mom and dad at home 24 hours a day because they don't have to work. That gives more value to the kids. But, you know, we could go ahead and just keep doing things the way they are now and look outside and see how the kids are doing. I'd like to see change to a positive, not negative. And the way things are going now, it's woo! How many kids are in jail? Yeah, let's change that and give the parents back to the children instead of to the job. Robots can do that. That's a great value. Great value. You don't want to be rich. That's exactly right. What I just said. You don't want to be rich. And as I said earlier, there's a lot of people that we can't help become rich because they don't want to be rich. And that's cool. Everyone has a place in life. I want to get those people that want to be rich to be able to see through the bullshit that we're being fed right now about all this new technology being bad. It's not. It's the greatest opportunity to make wealth ever if you have the right perspective. And a lot of people won't have that perspective, and they'll be content. And content doesn't get you, that vacation once a month, wherever you want. Content doesn't get you the pleasures of life that individuals require for their own individual happinesses, whatever those requirements are. Mine would be, I don't know, infinite amounts of cat food that I'll never have to run out of. Yeah, Snooks, now you're taking the extreme far. I'm not talking about becoming a trillionaire and controlling people's lives. You're going from one extreme to another and allowing yourself to use that to keep yourself content. You're saying, oh, well, one rich person was bad, so I don't want to be rich. Okay, well, there's 100,000 billion bad people that are poor and content. Huh. There's your own logic used against you, girl. Got to watch out when talking to me. I can turn things around on you quick. Oh, shit. I just lost my pokey stick from my bowl. Damn it. Now I gotta find another one. Ah, no, there it is. I found it. No, I don't want French maids cleaning my house. I'm actually trying to think of some sort of a how to do a air purification and vacuum system that's built into the house with maybe that Roomba bot. So that way it can take care of all the dust, dandruff, and cat hairs. Yeah, Gerald's been hanging there. He's probably prepping dinner for tonight. A guy is a chef extraordinaire. And oddly enough, I don't care about food. I've never have. I think my mom sickened me to it because she thought she was a gourmet chef, and she wasn't. She cooked all kinds of exotic shit that I just didn't like as a kid, and it turned me off to all kinds of cool cooking. But she had fun. I guess that's the important thing. So yeah, I don't like cooking or eating. If I ever do get a house of my own, I definitely want an outdoor pizza oven, though, because I think I'd enjoy making fresh bread, just because the memories of Italy when I lived in Italy. But that's neither here nor there. It'll come. But yeah, just have a positive outlook and try and change your perspective, because whatever perspective you have now, poke holes in it. Look at the other side. Don't have blinders on. And you might be able to enlighten yourself into a better way of, either helping others or being more helpful to yourself or whatever. Hey, Gerald, did you make yourself a birthday cake? It's the only way to get the cake you want. I think a strawberry cake with a cream frosting on top would be kind of good. A lemon cream frosting, a strawberry cake. I think it would be good. See, you could have a cooking bot. One of those, you could buy a robot to do nothing but make cupcakes all day and have a cupcake sales place. And you wouldn't have to hire an employee because your robot would be making the cupcakes for you. Exact every time. Perfect. Exact every time. Something a human can't do. Not without paying them a lot of money. Apple strudel. Ugh. What was those? There's those things, apple dumplings. The only thing I liked about my brother is when my mom made apple dumplings, he didn't like the dumpling and I didn't like the apple. So I took the apple out of the dumpling and he took the apple out of the dumpling. He gave me the dumpling and I gave him the apple. So I got 2 of the dumplings. He got 2 apples. Because I don't like cooked apples. I really don't like too many cooked vegetables either. Of course, they wouldn't have love in them. And you just drop the price 5 cents and say, hey, there's no love baked into these, but I'm still going to make money while I'm on vacation with my kids. It's about increasing your lifestyle and keeping up with modern technology and not getting left behind. I'm just giving out examples of ways that a computer or a robot can do things for you to make you money, to where you don't have to work, to where you can spend more time with your family and have money. 2 things that we can't do today. We can't spend time with our family and have money because we have to work. The robotic unit takes one of those equations away, and it's not the family and the free time it takes away. It's the work if you work it properly. And if you work it properly means start your own business to where you don't have to pay an employee, but you have one. If you know anything about creating businesses, the most expense in a business is an employee. If you can knock out that expense. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about, oh yeah, I'm going to start 1,000 employee. Oh no, but they're going to be robots and there's going to be 1,000 robots. No, you guys are negatively thinking if that's your thought process. One $10,000 robot that Elon Musk is selling, sit it down doing one thing and start a company doing that one thing. Repair shop, repairing tools, grinding gems, making cupcakes, whatever it is, a robot can do for you individually to open up your own company. Yeah, no, not 1,000 employees in the first day. No, one. Because just having one employee that you don't have to pay 40%. First off, you don't have to pay the salary. You don't have to pay the workman's comp insurance, which is 40% of that person's salary on top of their salary. And then you don't have to pay insurance for having that person there in case they get hurt, which is about 10% of that person's cost. See how much money per hour you're saving? That's saving. Now you're not paying the person on top of it. You could have a robot employee make you $40 an hour, 24/7, 365. That way you wouldn't have to go to work and you could stay at home, and your wife wouldn't have to go to work. She could stay at home and you could raise your children's like, your 2.5 children, a white picket fence, mom and dad at the house, no kids with guns shooting around, all this other crazy shit that we have now with kids because the dad's out of the house because he's got to have 2 jobs and mom has to work. The robot replaces that. It brings the family unit back together if worked right. If you don't have the right mindset, then continue with the fatherless families, the gun shooting kids, the dropouts that go to prison. So we have to raise our taxes to pay for the people in prison, because I guarantee you those same taxes are going to be saved because they're going to have robotic guards, because it'll be safer for the guards not getting gigged and all this other stuff. And it'll save the taxpayer money, even though they're going to raise your taxes, which means we're going to have more expenditures on politicians. For why? Oh, because we're ignorant. Okay, yeah. No, I'm not down. Not down with that one. What's up, Deja Vu? I think everyone should take personal responsibility. Start your own company. One robot company. Yeah, sure. There can't be 320 million individual companies. But then again, there ain't 320 million positive people in America. There's probably only 1 or 2 million positive people in America. The rest of the people are negative and think negatively or don't think properly on how things advance. And they're believing in the FUD we're being told by whomever is telling us that robots are going to take over the world and we're all going to be jobless and not have any money. Yeah, you're right. We are going to be jobless. We as individuals will be jobless, but we are going to own robots that work for us making money. So we're not going to be jobless and poor. We're going to be jobless and wealthy. That's the reality if your thought process is proper and you work in the manner to get to that point where that can happen for you. To do that, all you need to do is start a company. Whatever kind of company would only take 1 employee. A wood cutting company for chopping firewood. 1 employee, robot, boom. Now you put him out there. What are you going to do today? Your wood chopping company's working on its own at no expense to you other than the expense of the repairs and maintenance on the robot, for which you should more than make for the sale of a cord of wood. If they're being made for free, no expense to you, and you're still selling them, hello, profit margin, all of it. I'm sure you can take a little bit of it, unless you're foolish enough not to think that you have to reinvest in stuff to maintain it. And you'd still be making more money than if you had a real employee. I mean, I've just named off 4 or 5 companies, individual small companies that one individual could open up, one family could open up with 1 robot, and mom and dad would not have to work. But that's just my thoughts on it. And I hope I can enlighten other people to have a similar thought process to where you too might be able to make yourself some bacon instead of smell it being made at someone else's house. We got plenty of copper in this world. New discovery of copper was just discovered in Democratic Republic of Congo last year. Large surface, it was a surface find. It was on top, fucking almost a whole damn mountain. Huge, and it was right on top. Real easy to mine. Actually, there's no mining. You can just take a pick and shovel and handle your business. So we got more than enough copper on this world. And the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, I did a report on this. He offered Trump all of the mineral rights in his country if it would help go down there, stop M23 and Angola, I think it is, from attacking and taking over the southern eastern part of his country, because his military couldn't handle it. And I have not heard any other reports about that conflict since then. So either they sent our special forces down there and we annihilated that army that was invaded, or it invaded and took over the Democratic Republic of Congo. Either way, the news has not reported anything on it that I've seen. But if America does step in and help the Democratic Republic of Congo out with their little war, we have contracts for unlimited natural resources out of the Democratic Republic of Congo for doing that action. And since America has been known for the past 50 to 60 years as the police force of the world, I don't see where we wouldn't step in and do that. It'd be most advantageous for us to. But again, I've not seen any news articles on that conflict in a month and a half. But we shall see. Smoking lamps on. Wow. 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 Check out the expense of having gas and oil rights, mineral rights, it's called. Check out the expense of having the mineral rights. That's actually rather expensive. So if land comes with mineral rights, holy shit. That's probably the original owner having to sell out old money. That'd be a good purchase if it's not already tapped. You're going to see a lot more of that. That's old school money of people that used to have wealth that haven't positioned themselves properly, having to get rid of their assets to help maintain their lifestyle or whatever they got going on. You're going to see a lot more of that before the end of the year. A lot of unusual things like that. That's older, established wealth people, families that are caught in a bad way and have to sell their assets, because that's not a typical. That is not a typical home sale that comes with the mineral rights. But that's cool that it's happening, because that means that there's a shakeup going on bigger than what the news is telling us. And the upper echelon, the wealthy people, are starting to hurt real bad. Hopefully we'll see more real estate ads like that. And look at the advantageousness of buying into that too, by the way. Because rich people don't sell their assets if they're not, well, they'll sell their worst producing assets first, but still, there's still opportunity there. Depending. There's be wary, but there's a good possibility that's a good offer. So what else do we got that people want to talk about? Main thing I wanted to talk about is manufacturing coming back to America at the tune of $5 to $10 trillion of investment from companies and countries. And I think that's rather significant. Yeah. Okay. See, and that's where you got to do more research, because they might actually just be trying to increase the price of the property after all of the minerals have been tapped. So if they have already done fracking, they already probably got that, or the law changed on fracking in that state or county, and they won't allow it. So they're just throwing that mineral rights up there as a teaser to help buy that property, even though it's negligible, because in that county or in that state, you can't frack and get the resources out of the ground. There's a lot of counties and states have banned fracking because it's actually bad for the groundwater. It starts contaminating natural groundwater sources. I haven't heard people talk about that in a couple of years, several years actually. Ouch. Yeah, 8 acres. That's mineral rights on 8 acres. Not for gas and oil. That's nothing. Even if there was a direct puddle of oil underneath the ground, you'd only get the revenue off of 8 acres of it, and they're usually a lot bigger than an 8-acre bubble of oil and natural gas under the ground. So it'd be a small percentage of gain. And like I said, if they've already done fracking and stopped fracking, they've probably extracted most of the resources out of that ground. Pennsylvania is a state where I believe they made it illegal to frack because they determined it was bad for the groundwater. At least that was during, I don't know, it was a couple of years ago. I don't know exactly how many years. But yeah, Pennsylvania's was big on fracking until they discovered their groundwater was contaminated. And they got some freaky politicians, so I don't know exactly what's going on with that because I haven't heard anything in a while about the contamination of fracking to groundwater. But I did hear Trump's going to be reopening up coal mining, which is interesting. That should really stimulate Pennsylvania, that area of the world's economy. Since China is opening up 300 coal power plants this year. I don't see where the ecosystem is going to be at too much of a threat if we just open up a couple. Not only that, with all the volcanoes going off. Well, that's actually a good thing. And that's a good thing because it destroys the groundwater and the ability of the ground. There's a lot of bad things. You got to be real careful where you're fracking. It can do more harm, long-term harm than short-term good. I think we need to invest heavier and more into micronuclear and small modular reactors and get off of as much so oil and gas to the point where we need to frack to get it, because there's a lot of oil and gas out there. We don't need to frack to get it. And if we go more to nuclear, we'll need less of it. So therefore, we'll have less need to do that. And it'll protect the soil and the groundwater and aquifers that exist. You got to understand how aquifers actually work under the soil. And in fracking, you take away the ability of the rock to hold the oil. I mean, to hold the water, for it to be an aquifer, to where rain falls down, fills up the aquifer, and it gets filtered naturally through the soil. All that whole shit goes away. And that can really affect farming and towns and cities for generations. So yeah, I was never a big frack fan. Never a big frack fan. But we shall see. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it ain't going to happen. We've done stupid shit before. Look at Bikini Island. We nuked the fuck out of it for years just to see what nukes do. How stupid, huh? Just figure it out in the math. You've got the effects of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or whatever those two cities we bombed in World War II with nukes. You just do the math and you can figure the ratios, and you don't need to explore and do all this extra stuff. Yeah, I'm all on top of that one, Tom. I've been on top of that one for over a year and a half. Really only seriously talking forward about it in the last 6 months, I guess. But yeah, I've been on top of that. NNE is nanonuclear, and then you got OKLO out of California. They're a micro nuclear company that's going to be creating micronuclear reactors. And then you got Dream Inc. out of Switzerland. They're going to be creating a micronuclear reactor that creates 60 megawatts of power and 60 megawatts of cooling, because they're going to be building, and that's a tell for the future of manufacturing for the next couple of years. Is there's going to be a lot of big warehouses built that are going to have computer processors in them, because Dream Inc. has specifically designed their micronuclear reactor for a use case of a large building with computer systems inside it. So if the world money controller for the past 15 millennium is investing in that style of micronuclear reactor, I would suggest that we're going to have a digital economy. Yeah, of course. That's the problem with fracking. It kills the groundwater and it forces you onto the taxpayer service fucking less than adequate. They can poison with all kinds of fluoride and asbestos if they want, and they force you into that. And you have to pay. And who got the money for destroying the well water? The fracking company. That's the problem with fracking. There's also, I've seen a video, I think it was in Pennsylvania, I could have been wrong. Guy turned his faucet on, and I think flames started shooting out of it. It's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. There's a lot of crazy shit going on under the ground in Pennsylvania, in that area. Yeah, people thought fracking was good, man. Until people actually found out what fracking expense long term is. And it's just a killer. And hopefully we won't continue fracking. But that's just my personal opinion, for which is meaningless. Aha, there we go. Cleaning my bowl, sorry. Got to repack it. Yeah, anything. That's what I don't like about people's thought processes. Like, here's a direct example from my neighborhood. I clean the alley. I get rid of weeds in the cracks, and I do the same for the sidewalk and the road in front of my house. No one else on this block does that but me. So I don't do the whole block. I just do in front of my house. And there's a dramatic difference from a 1 or 2 foot tall weed in the sidewalk to a sidewalk that has no weeds on it. And everyone thinks that if they pay taxes for someone to come along and take care of this, not realizing it's their responsibility, being the homeowner, because most of them are renters. So they don't take care of it. And they let the weeds grow, and it cracks up the ground and the sidewalk even more. And they all are saying, oh, well, we pay taxes. We pay taxes. Well, the thing about paying taxes is if you pay $1 in tax, 60 cent of that dollar goes to the legislators and the bureaucrats. And then 30% of it goes to buying the equipment needed. And only 10% goes to actually paying someone to do it. So now you've got a city of 120,000 people paying taxes to have someone clean up the sidewalks and the streets and the alleys and get all the grass out. And of those 120,000 people paying the tax, because the way the taxes are divvied up before it gets any real use case, you only get 2 employees to clean up the whole fucking city. That's like impossible for them to do. But yet every citizen thinks that because they pay taxes, it should be done. And what you don't realize is if you go out and do it yourself, you won't have to pay that tax. And there's more things out there. If you do yourself, you can lessen the amount of tax you pay over time, telling your city, hey, we don't need this. We don't need to pay tax for this. We can do it ourselves. We don't need to pay tax for this. Or another way to look at it is we don't need to give you money to run our lives. We'll keep our money and run our own lives, and we'll do it responsibly, is another way to look at it. That's the way I look at it. That's why when I do videos and you see outside, and I'll actually specifically do a video showing the differentials of what I'm talking about, from a well-maintained sidewalk to a not maintained sidewalk. I go 2 houses down the hill, you'll see the difference. I'll probably do the video today. It's amazing the dramatic difference of people who take responsibility and those people who pay taxes for someone else to take responsibility. And the ramifications are tremendous and yet very visual. Yeah, there you go. Ohio has the burning water. Ooh, deja vu. Holy cow, I've moved, girl. And don't drink any fucking water out of the ground. Yeah. Everyone's opinionated about everyone else. I just I know I have mine. I'll just leave it at that. You know, I noticed that a long time ago, bro, by the way that he set conversations up. I was like, oh no, no. Sorry, bro. Get the fuck away from me. And that's all I'll say. But anyhow, I just wanted to bring you guys a little shorty here. It turned out to be an hour and a half on manufacturing coming to America and the trillions and trillions that has already been invested and has been promised to be invested over a 10-year time period, because it's going to take a while to build all of the manufacturing plants for these trillion-dollar companies that are going to be manufacturing in America. Yeah, he watches that instead of Life. We chased all the trains out of our town. But yeah, so like next time you hear a YouTuber saying America will never be a manufacturing nation, unsubscribe from them, because they don't know what they're talking about. They obviously haven't been looking at what's been going on. Trains are very good. We have a train station right down by our Union Hall, Pacific Railroad, actually. I actually built a 1,000 yard long garage for a train at the Oakland Amtracks. They got like multiple, like 20 or 30 tracks coming in all at once, some of them going to maintenance sheds and everything else. And we did this 100 yard long shed to protect it from the sun as it pulled in and picked up passengers or whatnot, or whatever it was doing. So I've made lots of money off of trains and train activity as well. Trains are not bad. What's bad is the bureaucrats that get in between the train and its job that think they can snipe some money by doing something this way or that way, or save some money by not doing maintenance here or there or whatever. Deferred maintenance. Well, there's not really going to be, in my opinion, a world reserve currency. What we're going to see is a lot of different reserve currencies. And that's my issue with BRICS, is because no one wants to listen to me when I'm telling them India wants to be a reserve currency in the Indian Ocean part of the world. Basically, in their part of the world, they want to be the reserve currency. America is going to be a reserve currency for our part of the world. And there's going to be other countries that are big enough to be reserve currencies in their part of the world. And there's not going to be, eventually, it's not going to be a American dollar is the world reserve currency, but there's going to be several reserve currencies in different areas of the world. And through digital technology, we'll be able to transact fairly and equitably between those different reserve currencies in those different areas of the world for goods and services. And that's the transition of the digital part of the economy coming into our manufacturing economy and our less global economy at the same time. And after saying less global, that's on the physical realm. It's going to be less global. Our manufacturing is going to be actual physical stuff we do here in America. And we're going to have our reserve currency, and say like India, we're going to have to import stuff from there, but they're going to have their own reserve currency too. But through the digital transactions, we'll be able to transact our reserve currency with their reserve currency. What's up, Silver and Jeffro? And that's how the digital age is going to come into the economic future while we deglobalize. So we can still deglobalize and globalize at the same time. Through digital technology, we will globalize, but in the physical realm of touchy-feely, we're deglobalizing, and that's where manufacturing come back to America. And that's why I see there always being a physical bill and a digital bill, because we're going to have both economies going because of the reserve currency thing. And that brings me back to India. If India is going to be a reserve currency for the world area of the world they're in, for which they're already distributing rupees to different countries for them to hold, for them to be a reserve currency, they can't be part of BRICS. And if South Africa is going bankrupt, as they seem to be, and India leaves BRICS to be a reserve currency in their part of the world, that might affect BRICS a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of sort of the way, that's just the way I see it going down. I mean, I don't have specifics. There's a lot of geopolitical shit going on. There's 187 countries that can change the dynamics by a word. So it's very a fragile road, but that's the direction. It's going to be a digital worldwide economy that's created by individual countries' physical assets turned over into a digital format for international commerce. Basically, that's the most layman's way I can say it. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream. Thank you all for coming in. I wanted to get that out because I'm so sick of these big famous YouTubers saying that manufacturing's never coming back to America. They're one of two things. They're either outright lying to you, or they just don't do enough research on what's actually happening in America, or the America that they think they live in. And I just got sick of it. So anyhow, you guys have a great day. Thanks, Tom, One Spice, Jeffro, Silverwood Blues, Deja Vu, Gerald, everybody. Thank you very much for coming in. And I'll see you on the next one. And Theran, sorry, I forgot your name too, brother.